I, 27 male, unfortunately got my girlfriend, 25 female, pregnant 3 months into dating. She was on birth control, but it failed. In hindsight, I should have also used protection, but I figured the birth control was supposed to be 99.9% effective. I never thought I'd be that 0.1%. After getting pregnant, she changed her mind and wanted to keep it. I won't lie that I'm not happy about this decision, but I realize it's her choice and I don't get a say. It is what it is. She's now almost 7 months pregnant and very much showing. Her parents are very traditional and her dad is a relatively well-known person in his community. He has a somewhat high-profile job as well, even has a Wikipedia page. To say her parents are trying to get us to get married before the kid is born is putting it lightly. It started off just expecting, "So when are you getting married?" And now it's been more, "You better get married before this kid is born because my grandkid won't be a bastard." Personally, I'm not interested in marriage. My parents are both married and divorced twice. Most marriages in my extended family have gone the same, and I just don't really care for the institution. Not knocking it for people who choose it, but it's not for me. Even if it were, I wouldn't feel ready to marry my girlfriend anyway because we still haven't even been together for a full year. I'd want to date for at least 2 years before getting married. With my girlfriend, I'm not sure if we'd really be together had she not gotten pregnant. I would rather see if we can make ourselves work than not try, but I'm not keen on jumping into marriage just because there'd be a kid in the picture. I think she's a great person, but I wouldn't say I feel like I'm in love with her. The girlfriend started off indifferent but is now trying to get married as well. I don't think it's so much she wants to be married to me, as much as her parents have convinced her she'll be an embarrassment to have a kid out of wedlock. In a twist, last week her father offered to buy the ring, pay for the wedding, and give me $100,000 to get married before the kid is born. Not to be nice, but to save him from what he feels is an embarrassment. The whole thing just feels slimy to me. We both have good jobs, and while the money would be nice, we don't really need it. I make enough in my job to provide for the kid, as does she. Am I the idiot for not just sucking it up and marrying her, even if I'm not really in love with her? Not the idiot. Pregnancy is not a valid reason for marriage. Be a good father. Show up and be there for both of them. But if you marry someone you're already unsure about, it will end in resentment on both sides. Don't do it. Also, kids can definitely pick up on that resentment. It's better for the kids to not be married if you don't want to be. Your girlfriend isn't the idiot either. She's 7 months pregnant, so hormones are a mess. And she's got her family breathing down her neck and making her feel like crap when she already has the intimidation of becoming a mother in there. That sounds like an awful situation for both of you. Her family is ruining what should be a time for you all to focus on what it looks like to be a family, together or apart right now. Maybe once the baby is born, you'll bond way more and you'll open up to the idea. Maybe not. OP, are you 100% sure she was on birth control? This 1000% feels like a plan. At least get a paternity test before you sign any papers declaring you as the father, OP. You don't want to get suckered into raising a kid that isn't yours. Also, what the heck is this talk about the child being a bastard? We're past that as a society. Don't give in to those antiquated ways. It's not a thing where children will be punished or made fun of. The vast majority of children nowadays don't have married parents. No one thinks twice about it. I disagree. OP, you are the idiot. He told all of us, I'm not really in love with her, but I highly doubt this loser told the girl and her father that. He isn't a man, he's an idiot stringing that girl along. There's nothing wrong with not getting married to a girl you don't love. There is a crap load wrong with not telling your girlfriend pregnant with your child you don't love her and have no intentions to stick with her, married or otherwise. Seriously though, what the heck is he doing waiting for her to give birth before he breaks up with her? That is insane, at least if he breaks it off now. My 32 male wife, 30 female, and I have been together 11 years, married for just over 5 years. Ever since I met her in college, she's been insecure about her appearance, specifically her body. When we got our first jobs out of college and became financially stable, she approached me and asked how I felt about her getting a boob job. To be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the idea. I told her I loved her how she is and that I don't think she needed one. But knowing how much it's bothered her, I told her I would support her decision either way. After thinking about it for a while, she approached me again to say that if I was still serious with my answer, that I would support her either way, that she was going to proceed with the operation as it's been something that has affected her self-esteem for a long time. I wasn't sure how to feel about it at first. I thought about taking her out of it, but wanted to stand by my original answer and support her either way. In 2021, she went and got a surgery. I will say, her surgeon was fantastic and things did end up looking very good. The problem I've had is ever since she's gotten her surgery, it's definitely emboldened her to put them on display, so to speak. She went from wearing baggy and unrevealing clothing to very tight and revealing shirts with a lot of cleavage. I had dated bigger-chested women in the past, so I was pretty used to it. It just threw me off in the beginning. One thing that I'm not adjusting well to is her over-willingness to show people her bare breasts. It's no secret to anyone that's known her for a long time that she got plastic surgery. At first, it was mostly her just showing her girlfriends, which was still weird to me, but it didn't really cross a boundary for me. However, it's almost as if the more and more she's shown them off and got validation, the more and more enabled she is to continue doing it. The first time it crossed a boundary for me was when we were at a friend's house for dinner and drinks, and she'd had a little too much to drink and showed her girlfriend her breasts while her girlfriend's husband was standing right there. We fought in the car about it on the way home. The next morning I tried to set boundaries with her, but she dismissed it and shook it off like I was being controlling. Most recently, we were at a friend's house with many other mutual friends watching a football game, and she got drunk again. Upon our team scoring in walk-off fashion, she lifted her shirt and flashed the entire party while jumping up and down in celebration. She's not even a football fan and hardly understands who to cheer for. To me, it was like an excuse to just show off to everyone. Without their consent, might I add. I was livid, and again we fought about it. She got defensive and turned it around on me, saying that for once in her life she's happy with how she looks and she just wants to feel good about herself. I again tried expressing my boundaries, but she completely dismissed them. We've been short with each other for a week since that's happened. It may sound ridiculous, but if she can't respect my feelings and my boundaries, this could be grounds for divorce. I know that might sound dramatic, but I've expressed I'm not okay with it and she dismisses me constantly. Am I the idiot for asking my wife to please stop flashing people? So my aunt went through this weird flashing phase after she got her augmentation done as well. Everyone was very uncomfortable with it and kind of talked crap about her behaviour when she wasn't around. I think it's weird to show them to people who haven't expressed interest in seeing them. She's probably making everyone uncomfortable. It's odd behaviour that's not within social norms, especially flashing during a game where her surgery wasn't even a topic. Honestly, it sounds like your wife is still insecure and doesn't feel better about herself, and that's why she's showing off, to get validation. She needs to focus on herself and whatever is making her insecure and unhappy. Maybe I'm wrong, but for the women that I know who got the surgery out of insecurity versus medical or wanting to fill out clothes, was always a deep-seated insecurity and self-worth issue. You are not the idiot, and your wife is becoming the idiot for continuous flashing to people without their consent. I'm really sorry, this is rough. Good luck. I, teen male, go to a British international school thanks to my dad. My mom's husband, who she cheated on my dad with several years ago when they were together, can't afford to send his son, Jack, teen, to a similar school. She's tried to get my dad to withdraw me and send me to a public school instead because it isn't fair on Jack, but my dad said no. She's taken to visiting me when my dad wasn't home and saying that I don't have to be in a fancy private school and that I should talk to my dad about withdrawing. She even told me it has given me an elitist hobby. I like reading Shakespeare. So I told her that it isn't my fault her husband spent all his money on his mistress, something she's vented to me about before, and that she can't expect me to give up what I have now for the sake of a guy I only see once a month. My mom looked really hurt and said I was being inconsiderate of her feelings before leaving. In fact, it makes your mum massively entitled, not to mention she's picking favourites. She would lower the standard of your education and take you from a school you're happy with just to appease your stepbrother. And the horrible way she's trying to manipulate you into giving it up after she tried to go around you to your dad and it failed. Not the idiot all day. And I suspect her reasoning for it has less to do with fairness but has more to do with appeasing her new husband and his ego, which makes it even worse. And if she's complaining about a mistress, then it sounds like it won't be long until Jack is no longer a stepbrother anyway. Your schooling situation has nothing to do with Jack, and he doesn't need a fancy school to get the education he needs. Good for you that you like reading Shakespeare. It's a nice hobby. My mom looked really hurt and said I was being inconsiderate of her feelings before leaving. Did she consider your father's feelings when she cheated on him? Or yours? Your dad is paying for it, not her. Point out how you value having the education you're getting. The other kid is not your problem, nor is the feelings of the guy who was instrumental in the breakup of your family. Update. So I called Mom and talked to her about it some more. I made it clear to her that I will never give up any of my opportunities for her stepson's sake. She got upset at me and told me that I was selfish, so I told her that unlike her, at least I'm not a cheater who lost custody by snorting crap in front of her then 11-year-old son. That's it. She won't be bothering me anymore. No contact now. I'm getting married this year and asked a close high school friend to be in my wedding party. We've been friends for a long time, see each other almost every other week, and generally get along super well and have never fought until now. Since high school, she's always been a yo-yo dieter and will cycle through gaining weight and losing weight. This is something that I've never talked to her about, nor do I have a strong opinion about, as it's her body. The most I get involved is that when she brings up trying to exercise more, I'll invite her out on hikes with me, walks, etc. When I asked her to be my bridesmaid, she was ecstatic, and everything was great until she mentioned to me that she bought her bridesmaid's dress 3 sizes smaller than her current size. She said that my wedding was going to be a great motivator to lose weight. 3 sizes was quite aggressive in my opinion, as it would put her in a weight that she hasn't been in since college. I didn't say anything though, as I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. After a couple of months of seeing no progress though, I quietly bought her the same exact dress in a larger size. Come this past week, she called me in tears saying that she didn't think that she could fit into her bridesmaid dress and felt horrible for ruining the dress code. The one she picked was now sold out and she was panicking that she couldn't get another dress in time. It was at this time that I mentioned I actually bought her the same dress in a different size and was happy to gift it to her free of charge since she already paid for the first one. When she heard this, she blew up and accused me of being a bad friend for never believing in her. She said that my doubt was offensive and that I must have been planning for this to happen. I told her that I just cared about her and obviously wouldn't have mentioned the dress if she'd lost the weight. But she herself brought up that she couldn't fit in her current dress, so I wasn't sure what she's mad about. She's now threatening to drop out of the wedding party, and some of our mutual friends think I was kind of an idiot for not being supportive enough. But I also don't know what they expected me to do either. She's now threatening to drop out of the wedding party. Well, tell her you're sorry she feels that way and that you're accepting she needs time to process this, that you hope once she does so she will still want to be in the wedding party but that you'll understand if she will feel otherwise, and then go on with your life with her in or out of it. Just don't fall for the drama trap with more drama. I think you've been a thoughtful and considerate friend. You are not the idiot. I think it was lovely of OP to quietly purchase the backup dress and not seek reimbursement when Plan B was actually needed. The true path to wedding happiness is knowing that plans will go astray, but having backup plans so you can roll with the punches. The bridesmaid is crazy to blame her inability to lose a fantastic amount of weight on OP. OP did nothing to discourage her but was just realistic and covered all bases. Before OP's suggestion, she was actually felt horrible for ruining the dress code. Oh God, she's going to make your entire wedding day about her if that was her reaction. What's the point of her even calling you, the bride, to stress you out about something that's not your fault and you cannot change? How selfish of her. Better to drop her, period. My daughter's school did not choose her to be valedictorian for graduation and she's still salty about it. Her high school normally goes with the highest grade point average, but it can be between the top 5 students if one demonstrates high academic achievement, like winning a competition. My daughter was the leader of and won a national robotics competition, and being the top 1 or 2 students, she was sure she would get valedictorian. But the school broke away from their criteria by choosing a girl who had been in a car crash caused by a hit-and-run driver. The girl wasn't badly injured, but her mom died from the accident, and she went on to finish the year with good grades. She wasn't in the top 5 students and only took 1 AP class, whereas most previous valedictorians came from the IB or full AP course load. My son was valedictorian 4 years prior and also did full IB. So my daughter was really angry when she found out because she felt like it was unfair and also thought it was racist because kids and parents had been complaining only Asian students ever got the award. According to her, the last 8 years it was always an Asian who had won, and while my daughter is half Asian, so is my son, the school was trying to find a non-Asian to appease the families. She said she would have been okay with the other 5 top students winning, but to give it to someone with just above average grades when the criteria was about academics made her feel like she and the other 5, which according to her were all Asians, were discriminated against. I don't know if this is true, and I understand why it's unfair and even agree with it to an extent, But the girl lost her mother and still finished the year with good grades, and that should be recognised. Also, the valedictorian has been made public, and if my daughter tried to get it overturned, it would make her look like a sore loser. I explained all this to her and told her that she was going to MIT already with a partial scholarship, and everyone knew she was smart, so she needed to accept sometimes unfair things happen. She was extremely angry at me for not going to the principal about this, and my wife was also angry because she felt like the school discriminated against our daughter. She's now in her first semester at MIT, and while she likes it, she says that most people in her classes were valedictorians in their high schools, and she feels like she was robbed when she worked so hard. I thought she would forget it, but she seems to still be angry about it and not as close to me as before. Am I the idiot for not talking to a school about this when I could? Not the idiot. As unfortunate as that is, and despite how much she does deserve to be valedictorian, I think it's an important lesson in how life can be really unfair and how you have to learn to cope with it. I agree in that I think it would make things worse if you and your wife had fought the school about it. It seems like a world-ending injustice to her now, but she will move on eventually. It just might take a while. It's a life lesson. Valedictorian, in the long run, will mean nothing. Well, it means an automatic scholarship for me and less student loans. There are a few scholarships out there that are only given to valedictorians. OP, you are the idiot in my opinion. Valedictorian is a title awarded for achieving, not being a victim. Your daughter has a very strong case for earning the position, and the person who ended up being awarded valedictorian did not earn it. You can empathize with the student who lost her mother, perhaps even support giving some special recognition, without using emotion to justify for giving her a title she did not earn. I agree with your take. I think OP's daughter is 100% right to be salty. I would be too. The school could have made them both, but instead basically said, I know you worked hard your entire high school career, but we feel bad for this girl, so we're going to pity her instead. And the fact the mom who watched her daughter work so hard and pushed herself so much didn't step in. This is one of those times where the parent should have gone to the school.